Hi everybody, I'm Julie, writer and director of the indie nerdy comedy Geek Less Punk, or the mumblecore nerdcore movie Geek Less Punk. And in this video I'll be talking about Little Shop of Horrors. It's a really great movie and Broadway play and movie and stuff. You're gonna really enjoy this video if you like the Little Shop of Horrors. Welcome to the Julie Show. Okay, hey guys, so I'll be talking about the show Little Shop of Horrors. A version made in 1960s, then there's a version made in the 1980s, and then I went and saw the Broadway play back in February. So I'll be saying really cool stuff about the Little Shop of Horrors. Okay. It's hard to say the word horrors, and so I am saying the word horrors. I'm not saying the word horrors. I'm saying horrors. Okay, so all right. The original, first of all, the original Little Shop of Horrors. It was directed. I have notes. It was directed in 1960. It came out in 1960. Let me check my notes. Okay. Yeah, in 1960, Little Shop of Horrors. Directed by Roger Corman. So to any indie filmmakers, Roger Corman is like a hero to us. Totally a hero to me. So Roger Corman passed away May 9th, 2024. Rest in peace, Roger Corman. But yeah, to any indie filmmakers, he was actually like a really successful indie filmmaker, and there's a lot of A-list filmmakers who credit Roger Corman for like giving them a career. So yeah, since I'm an indie filmmaker, Roger Corman's a huge hero to us. So I never saw the 1960 version before, and so I checked it out on Roku like for free, and I really enjoyed it. I was like really impressed, and I totally get why Roger Corman had this amazing career. It has like, as far as famous people, it has like a really young Jack Nicholson, so like super young, and he's great in it. He plays a dentist, and anyway, so yeah, Jack Nicholson is great in it, and then yeah, it's just a really good movie. It's super random. They kept a lot of the same elements. I grew up on the 1980s version, and I'll talk about that in a second. So, but as far as like this giant plant that eats people, it's kind of campy. It's definitely campy. The character Seymour. Oh, by the way, here's my shirt. It says "Suddenly Seymour." Okay, I got the shirt at the Broadway play. Okay, so but the 1960 version, there's still a guy named Seymour. He does have a huge crush on, or he's in love with his coworker Audrey. That's still there. But in the 1960 version, they keep it was all, the elements were all there. It's interesting what Howard Ashman turned it into. Howard Ashman was a genius, in my opinion. Roger Corman's a genius. Oh, it's interesting to see because the elements were already there. It's this giant plant, and Seymour keeps, like in the movie, the Roger Corman version, Seymour keeps accidentally killing people, like legit, it's an accident. So the movie's very campy, so like it's kind of funny when it keeps accidentally killing people. Again, it's a campy movie, you can't take it that seriously, so it's just, he keeps like, whoops. Oh my god, it's so funny the way it's done, and it's supposed to be a little campy. It's about a giant plant that eats people. Okay, so the Roger Corman version, it's really good, and what's nice about it is, like, since I am an indie filmmaker, it's like, as I was watching it, it made me feel happy about making movies, because it's like, it's definitely, it's done on a budget, but it's done really well. And I was like, I mean this in a really nice way, like, not where I think I'm like better than people, but what I like about it is just that I was watching it, and I was like as far as budget goes, I was like, hey, I could do that. You know what I mean? I was like, Yeah, it was very inspiring, and that's why Roger Corman is a hero to indie filmmakers, because it's just like, he makes movies in a way where it's like, you feel like you could do it in a good way, like budget-wise. For example, I just saw Deadpool and Wolverine, and not once did I think, hey, I could do that, because you literally need $200 million to make Deadpool and Wolverine, right? I mean, you know, because that movie has a huge budget. So, but Roger Corman, definitely a hero to indie filmmakers. Rest in peace. Because, like, so to any indie filmmakers out there, if you've never seen the 1960 version, Little Shop of Horrors, do yourselves a favor and go watch it, because it's really good. And it's only like an hour. No, it's like 60, 70 minutes. It's not very long. Oh, and yeah, the dentist being... Oh, no, Jack Nicholson plays a masochist, and the dentist is a sadist, and the dentist tries to, anyway, so it's a weird but funny scene where the sadist meets a masochist, and then, anyway, so the dentist, he can't get any pleasure out of hurting Jack Nicholson, because Jack Nicholson loves it. It's weird, and it's there, and I don't know. It's a weird, awesome, amazing movie. The 1960s version is really cool. Okay, so the 1980s version, that's the version I grew up on. Okay, so 1986, A Little Shop of Horrors, Howard Ashman, with Alan Menken. I was born in 1982, grew up in the 90s, so that was my childhood for sure. So like yeah, The Little Mermaid, Beauty and the Beast, and Aladdin, those were, oh, and The Lion King. I was a kid when those movies came out, literally, and it's called the Disney Renaissance, and those movies completely blew my mind, and I can honestly say, like, those 4 movies legit made me want to be a filmmaker. So, as far as, like, A Little Shop of Horrors, the 1986, yeah. So the music's brilliant. I just think it's brilliant that Howard Ashman took this really awesome movie and just kind of amped it up a little and gave it kind of already had soul, but Howard Ashman really breathed, and Alan Menken really breathed a lot of heart and soul into the movie, because the music for Little Shop of Horrors is stunning and gorgeous and amazing. And what I would say is, yeah, like, Howard Ashman was my childhood. So was Alan Menken. Like, and what I would say is why I think Howard Ashman was able to catch, like, the spirit as far as the Disney Renaissance. But I think, like, those movies really teach, in general, people how to dream, like, and so The Little Mermaid had a dream of wanting, really, she just wanted to travel. The metaphor is she wanted to travel. She wants to leave the ocean. She doesn't want to stay in the ocean. I don't know why people, it's like a metaphor for leaving your small town. I don't know why people are so mean to her for wanting to leave her small town. That's what it's a metaphor for. As far as, anyway, whatever. That was a tangent. But yeah, Ariel wants to leave the ocean. Let her leave. So, okay. As someone who, I wasn't super happy in my small town, so I wanted to move on. But I love the town I grew up in. But sometimes the internet is too hard on The Little Mermaid, and it just, I don't know. I was like, what's wrong with wanting to travel? Okay, so anyway, but as far as the Renaissance that Howard Ashman and Alan Menken brought in, it's like, yeah, The Little Mermaid, it was people wanting to dream. Belle from Beauty and the Beast, she wanted to dream, she wanted to travel. You know, and Aladdin, he was dreaming. So what Walt Disney did was he taught people how to dream. The little Mickey Mouse, he became popular during the Great Depression because he was telling people to dream. You know, so that's how Mickey Mouse got popular. The little mouse. Anyway, so I think that's the part. That's how Howard Ashman encouraging people to dream. That's what that's how he captured the Disney Renaissance, in my opinion. Okay, so, but Little Shop of Horrors, the music is stunning. It's gorgeous. As far as the 1980s version, 1986, I used to watch it all the time when I was a kid, and I loved it, and it was really, really good. The music's really touching. The fact that Audrey, her dream is to have a really shiny toaster, and the part where they're singing, they sing a part, Skid Row, yeah. That song's about dreaming. It's about wanting to dream. It's about, that's kind of important, and following your dreams is super important. And then just Suddenly Seymour is such a absolutely beautiful song. So yeah, good, great movie starring Rick Moranis, or Moranis, if I said it wrong, who's a hero. He was in Ghostbusters, Honey, I Shrunk the Kids. Total hero to an entire generation of kids, myself included. And then it was Ellen Green as Audrey. She does she's just really, really good. Just so touching, and just a really great movie. So the one thing I did want to say is that I saw someone made a YouTube video. So apparently they, when I went to, I'll get to the Broadway play because I did go see it in New York City back in February. But as far as the 1986 version, so apparently they shot an ending where Audrey and Seymour die, and then the plants that are actually aliens, they take over the world. And so Frank Oz directed the Little Shop of Horrors. And Frank Oz is a genius. So, and Frank Oz and Howard Ashman, they love the ending where Audrey and Seymour die, and then the plants take over. And apparently, it took a lot of work to create this ending, and they test screened the ending for audiences, and audiences hated it. And I agree with the audiences. I agree because nobody on planet Earth wants to see Seymour, played by Rick Moranis. Nobody wants to see Seymour die or see Audrey, a victim of domestic violence. No one wants to see her die either. That is not entertaining. So, and here's what I want to say. Howard Ashman's a genius, and Alan Menken's a genius, and Frank Oz is a genius. But one thing I learned in like different filmmaking classes, and one of my screenwriting mentors, is the general audience is really, really, really smart. And the minute you think you're like better than the audience, like you lose, because the audience is smart. And not that Howard Ashman or Frank Oz, not that they thought they were better than the audience. When I went to film school before I dropped out, you know, I kept bumping into really pretentious filmmakers, which is totally fine. But I guess what I'm trying to say is, as a filmmaker, you should never think you're smarter than the audience. Like, movies are a mass medium. They're totally a mass medium. So it's like the audience is super, super smart. So that is to say, and Howard Ashman, Frank Oz, they're geniuses. But they showed it. They test screened the ending where Audrey and Seymour die. They test screened that ending to a couple of different audiences, and across the board, the audiences hated it. They hated it. They didn't want to see Seymour and Audrey die because it's so depressing. That's so fucking depressing. Excuse my language. It's just depressing considering how tough Audrey and Seymour have it, right? So finally Howard Ashman and Frank Oz, because they are geniuses, they're like, maybe we have to change the ending. So they changed the ending. I agree that I'm glad they changed the ending. The ending being that Audrey and Seymour, they do get a happy ending, and then but since it is like kind of a horror movie, they get their happy ending, but then the camera like pans to a little plant with the evil little smile on its face, saying it's gonna, so that's a nice little compromise. So yeah, because I saw some videos where people were debating it online. I like the happy ending because Seymour and Audrey deserve a happy ending. Yeah, don't tell poor people they shouldn't dream. That just makes you a fucking asshole. Okay. And I'm not saying that to Howard Ashman or Frank Oz because they're cool. Like, I'm just saying in general. Like, yeah, don't tell poor people they shouldn't dream. That just makes you a shitty person. Okay, so, you know, the American dream, you're supposed to dream. Okay, or the planet Earth's dream, you know what I'm saying. So, yeah, the 1986 version is absolutely brilliant. Rick Moranis, he's a genius, so lovable, an amazing movie star, and apparently like a really nice guy. So, great in Spaceballs and just in everything. And Ellen Greene, exquisite. She was great as Audrey. So yeah, it's a really good movie, the 1986 version. Okay, so now I'll talk about the Broadway play. Back in February, I live in California, Bay Area. So my friends wanted me to go to Las Vegas. I was like, okay, I kind of didn't have tons of money, but I was like, I can swing it. So I went to Vegas. It was cheaper. It was cheap to go to Vegas because it was 3 of us and we split the cost. So the hotel was like, we were there 3 or 4 days. The hotel was $200 because like there were 3 of us. Anyway, so it wasn't too bad. But anyway, I went to Vegas, had a lot of fun. And since I was already going to Vegas, and they wanted to go in February, I was like, all right, well, fuck it. Like, I'll go ahead and go to New York City and go see, Little Shop of Horrors. Yeah. So I saw the one that was starring Darren Criss. He's from Glee. He was really good. And Evan Rachel Wood. She's in like Westworld, that kind of stuff. Okay, so it was really good. Let's see. If you've never been to a Broadway play, technically it was off Broadway. So I have friends who live in Brooklyn, and they have a spare bedroom. So like, I just stay at their place and for free, which is really nice. So that helps. Plane ticket, not bad because I was already halfway across the country. So. Let's see. Oh yeah, to anyone out there, if you've never seen a Broadway play, like, it's totally worth it. Like, I totally recommend it. Like, yeah, I just totally recommend it because, it's good. It is like the cream of the crop. Like, so, right. And there's 2 different tickets I could have gotten. So I could have gotten a ticket. When I went to get a ticket, it was like a Wednesday night. Yeah, it was a Wednesday night. And so there's like a couple tickets left, so I could either get in the front row or I could get like kind of way in the back, and it wasn't that much of a price difference. So I was like, you know, fuck it, I'll get like, sorry for all the cursing, but you know, it's cool. This video is about a plant that eats people. Okay, so that's okay. Okay, so I got the front. I was like, fuck it, let me get the front row ticket. So I did, and once you get the front row ticket, TMI, but like you can see the actor, like you can see them like spitting and sweating, and it's like, or whatever. I mean, who cares? Maybe that's TMI. But it was really good. Like the minute it's kind of the Greek chorus, but is what you would call it in writing terms. I have Aristotle Poetics. It's a book I have over there. It's like the first book on screenwriting or writing drama. Anyway, but basically there's the Greek chorus. They're called the ensemble. And the minute they started singing, I was like, I've seen like traveling Broadway shows, like, you know how they'll travel, which is nice. That's really nice. I've seen those in San Francisco and back in Richmond, Virginia when I was there. But I've never been to like New York City Broadway, and technically it was off Broadway. But once they started singing, I was like, holy shit, like, I was like, this is like top notch. This is like the cream of the crop. You know what I mean? And I was just like blown away by how professional it was. Just, it was good, y'all. And then like, you know, New York City is like exciting and cool and awesome. So, I like New York City. I think it's really cool. That was my third time in New York City. I went once in high school. So, but yeah, the minute they got on stage, like the ensemble, as soon as they started singing, I was like, holy crap, it was so professional. And then they had like, like puppets, I guess. The special effects were really good. Right, and then, so I was there to see one of my favorite actors, Evan+Wood, and so I was, so the thing is, like, actors get sick, because they're people, so I was just hoping and praying, because, like, I was there to see, Evan, I was, like, hoping and praying, like, please don't be sick. I would have been fine, like, I would have watched it and had a good time, it was good, but I was there to see Evan. So, luckily, like, anyway, so the play starts, so I was, like, 2 seconds in. I guess what I'm trying to say is, like, if you ever get a chance to go see a Broadway play, like, any of them, I would say go do it, because I was like, oh, this is, like, cream of the crop, Not that it's a competition, like, I've been to plays in San Francisco that are really good too, but I don't know, y'all, there's just something about New York City, okay, so, two thumbs up for New York City, so, okay, so, anyway, so, I'm like, fingers crossed, please don't be sick, but then, Evan runs on stage as Audrey, and then I was like, phew, okay, and she did a really great job as Audrey. Singer Sing was really amazing, so, yeah, and, okay, and then later on, I didn't know, like, I guess when your favorite actor comes on stage, you can, like, clap and cheer. For me, I didn't know that, so, like, when she came on stage, I was more just like this, like, oh, relief, but, that's literally what I did. I was just like, oh, thank God, okay. But when Darren Criss came on stage from Glee, I know him from Glee, but I know he's done, like, he's super talented, he's done tons of stuff, but, when he came on stage, you could literally hear a couple of women go, not couple, it was at least 5 or 6, maybe 10, but you could hear, maybe at least 10 women go like this, woo, woo, and, like, clapping and stuff, and I was like, oh, were we supposed to cheer? I didn't know we were supposed to cheer when our favorite actor comes on stage, because I don't want to disturb someone while they're trying to, say their lines and stuff. So anyway, so yeah, it was all women when he got on stage. He did a great job, he's good at singing and acting, and he did great. And when you're on the front row, there's this part where he has like the plant and it's trying to eat people. So being in the front row, he went like this, woo, and then he went like that again. So like it was trying to eat me, and then it was trying to eat me again. Good news, it didn't get me. Yeah, okay. So there's this really funny lady right next to me. It was like intermission, and so she was really funny. She was just hilarious. So she had this she was wearing a Harry Styles t-shirt. She was kind of young. She was like 20s. I'm 42 years old. I'm too old to be like making random friends with people in their 20s. But we were just like chit-chatting, super chill, because it was intermission. So she had like a shiny coat. I was like, hey, cool shiny coat or whatever. She's like, thanks. And then we were like chit-chatting. So she was like, I don't know, she said something like, I'm here for Darren Criss. She was kind of sassy in like a funny way. And I was like, oh yeah, Darren Criss, like he's in Glee. Like I love Glee. And she's like, I was like, what? She's like, yeah, I like Glee, but I don't like people to know that I like Glee. I was like, whoa, why? She's like, it hasn't aged well. And I was like, oh, I guess some of the jokes on Glee are kind of, I don't know, you guys, I don't know. But I told her, I was like, yeah, believe it or not, back in the day, it was considered pretty progressive back in the day. And I guess at this point, it was almost 10 years ago. But it was considered progressive back in the day. And she's like, yeah, I'm a secret Gleek, is what she said. And she's like, and then she says something like, yeah, me and Darren go way back. And I was like, oh, do you like know him? She's like, no, but I've been a fan. I don't know, she's super sassy and funny. And then apparently, yeah, like Artie, the guy who plays Artie, and the lady who played Tina, they had like a podcast. And apparently Artie said something not nice about Harry Styles. And so she very jokingly, she's like, yeah, I don't like Artie anymore. And I was like, whoa, what happened there? And she's like, he said something about Harry Styles. He said something about how Harry Styles didn't deserve to win a Grammy, something like that. And she's like, you do not talk bad about Harry Styles. I don't know, she was funny. And then I was like, well, I was like, you know, I'm not the target audience for Harry Styles, 42-year-old lesbians, but I was like, clearly Harry Styles is very talented and all that kind of stuff. And she's wearing this t-shirt with Harry Styles' face, like huge, you know what I mean? It's like big graphic that says Harry Styles. Anyway, I'm like, clearly Harry Styles is very talented. And she goes, yeah, and she points at her shirt. So she was just really funny, and I was like, you should totally do a podcast or a YouTube video. And then I said, yeah, I'm more here for Evan Rachel Wood. I'm a fan of hers. And she's like, oh yeah, she's really great. And I was like, yeah, totally. So I don't know. It was fun to chit chat, and then I did get I got a snack and that kind of thing. So it was super fun to anyone out there. Like I could have gotten a hotel, but I was able to crash at my friend's place. But like doing like a little weekend trip to New York City and just going to see a Broadway play, it's actually like super, super fun. It's not like that crazy expensive, and like yeah, and so I would highly recommend it to anyone out there. Okay, now I'm just gonna show you my Little Shop of Horror swag. One second. Okay guys, now I'll just show you like my swag. Okay. Okay, here's what happens. This is the playbill. It's Little Shop of Horrors, the playbill. One second. Yeah, it's Little Shop of Horrors, the playbill. Okay, so here's what happens. Like, I was going through the playbill, and then these little pieces of paper kept falling out. Because basically, like, actors get sick, right? So these little pieces of paper kept, like, falling out. Like, one, two... And then, like, this third piece of paper. Okay. And then I was just, like, each time I was like, please don't be, you know, please don't say, you know, that Evan got sick. But luckily, like, I got to see her do the play, so that was pretty cool. So this is the playbill from, yeah, West Side Theater in New York City. So to anyone out there, I totally recommend going to go see a Broadway play in New York City. I had a good time. I also got the t-shirt, as you can see, Suddenly Seymour. That's my favorite song from the play. And then I also got the poster, Evan David Chris, Little Shop of Horrors. Bryce Pinkman, so good. I mean, everyone in the play, phenomenal. So, and then that's the Howard Ashton, Alan Menken, like, just phenomenal. And the special effects were really good. Oh, that sassy girl I sat next to, I was just saying, like, the special effects were really good. She was just kind of funny. She's like, you mean the puppets? And I was like, yeah, the special effects. She's like, the puppets. Potato, I'd call them special effects. And she's like, puppets. She was so funny. Okay. And then, also for anyone out there, if you've never been to a Broadway play, what happens is you can wait for people to come out and you get their autograph, like in this case, Darren Criss or Evan Rachel Wood or any of the other actors. But I actually already have Evan's autograph from her band, so Evan and Zane. So I was like, oh, I already have an autograph. And then my friends, they have like a kid, like a little baby. Well, she's like 4. So I was like, oh, let me get home, because they let me in the door, and you know, I didn't want to. So, but anyway, I was walking by the crowd who was waiting to get autographs, and the sassy lady was there, and she had a phone. She was FaceTiming her friend, and she was talking to her friend, and she was saying, look at all these people in my way to meet Darren Criss. It was hilarious, and excuse me, I hope that I'm sure she's doing well. I hope she started a podcast, or her YouTube channel. She was hilarious. She was awesome. Okay, so it was super fun. I highly recommend everyone just going to see like a Broadway play. It's super fun. Oh, yeah. I did say on my podcast back when I got back from New York City. That is correct. Yeah, I love watching Evan sing. I'm a huge fan. So yeah, when I saw her sing Somewhere That's Green, that song. Oh yeah, first of all, that song is just so fucking beautiful. Man, Howard Ashman, Alan Menken, oh my gosh. So Somewhere That's Green, but hearing Evan sing that song, I definitely cried a little because it's such a beautiful song. And then yeah, this is something I say because I'm whimsical, but yeah, every time I see her sing or watching her sing that song, this is me being whimsical, but like a little part of me falls in love with Evan. And I just want to say, when I say stuff like that, I'm being whimsical and silly and magical and that kind of thing. Like, I'm just being, I guess, a fan, that kind of thing. So, yes. So, I just want to say to everyone out there, anyone watching this, everyone has the freedom to be free and do free things. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, when I say stuff like that, I don't know, I'm just being a fan and being silly, and, you know, I love watching her sing. I love it. It's just amazing. Oh, and this is the first time I got to see her act, so, which is pretty cool. So seeing her play Audrey, it was pretty cool. Yeah, she did a really good job playing the character too. Okay, and so, but yeah, that's what I wanted to say. Yeah, I had a great time, and so much fun. To anyone out there, I totally recommend going to go see a Broadway play. I think Little Shop is still up and running as a play. It was after Darren Criss and Evan Rachel Wood, it became Jinx Monsoon and Corbin Bleu from High School Musical. I was like, holy shit, excuse my language, if I was like rich, I would just fly on back to New York City and see them, because holy crap. So I had a good time. Thanks so much for watching. And definitely Little Shop of Horrors is just, it's cool, man. Every version of it is amazing, and it is about dreaming, and yeah, it's great. So I highly recommend. Hi guys, one last antidote to like my regular viewers who've been here a while, who've been watching me for a while. This is one last antidote. Yeah, I also went and saw Evan+Zane, the band, one of my favorite bands, back in January 5th. Okay, so I ordered a bandana, and anyway, the people who make the merch, that company, they're so hilarious, and I love calling them. I ordered a bandana, and they forgot about it, because that's kind of what they do. Anyway, so I called them a couple months later. I was like, I gotta call them eventually. So I ordered the bandana, I called them. I was like, hey, like, I ordered, like, no biggie. I ordered an Evan+Zane bandana a couple months ago. Just wondering, could y'all mail it to me? It's a company in Los Angeles. Y'all know I love Los Angeles. So I called them. I was like, hey, no biggie. Could y'all, like, mail the bandana to me? And they called me, and I'm on the phone, and they're like, they're so funny to talk to. Okay, because I ordered, like, anyway, I've talked to them before. Okay, so they were like, okay, so they're like, sorry, they're like, oh yeah, you know what happened? They're like researching it. They're like, the person who like makes that merch, they're like, they couldn't find the design, so they just like deleted the order. And I was like, oh, okay. So like, could you guys go ahead and mail it to me? And anyway, they're super nice, and they did mail the bandana to me. But you guys, it's actually not a bandana. It's kind of a scarf. So I'll just show you. It's a scarf, which I love it. It's so pretty and so elegant, and it's basically like a scarf. It's a scarf. So that means I'm gonna have to like, anyway, so bandanas, for me in my life, bandanas serve different functions than scarves. So this is kind of a silky scarf material. Okay, so the last antidote I wanted to say, since this will be, I won't be making a video about Evan for a while, or Evan+Zane, and I know you guys really like it, but one last antidote. When I don't know if I shared this in the other videos, so I do want to share this antidote. Okay, because it's funny. So back in January, you know, it was Evan+Zane+Orchestra, and oh right, so there was like this huge orchestra, and like Evan was there, Zane was here. So Evan's singing a song, you know, and then, you know, me, I guess my face is really expressive, so like, you know, I'm just watching Evan sing, and I'm sure my face is all like happy and expressive, so my face is all like, whoa, like that, or whatever, you know what I'm saying? So, but what happened was, I was watching her sing, and then I stopped watching her sing, or whatever. She like stopped singing, and she had a sinus infection, so it's like someone else's. They were taking turns singing, different singers. Anyway, so then my face, like, no, but then so I watched her sing, and then I like scanned the orchestra, and I caught, like, it was either a violin player or a viola player. You know, there's a violin and then there's the bigger thing, but they both kind of look like violins. Anyway, so one of the violin players, I caught her, like, looking at me, like, with a smile on her face. So basically, she was watching me watch Evan, and she found it to be very amusing because I'm kind of spazzy and nerdy. So, anyway, so I just thought, okay, so I'm like watching Evan sing, and then I'm scanning the audience, and then I see the violin player, like, so I was like, whoa, she was looking at me, and then she was like, oh no, she sees, I don't know, we were both like, whoa. I was like, why are you looking, what am I doing? Am I, you know, but no, she was amused by me watching Evan sing, because I'm sure I look like I was completely blown away, because that's what my face does when I'm watching her sing. So, okay, that was my last antidote. Okay, so music's awesome, and bands are awesome, and Broadway's awesome, and yeah. Hi everybody, I'm shooting this last part a couple of days later, and different location, and then I still got my Suddenly Seymour shirt, which is my favorite song in Little Shop of Horrors. There's one last antidote I forgot, and I have notes here. There's one last antidote I forgot to say about the show when I went and saw Little Shop of Horrors back in February. So I was in the front row. So there's this part. I'm gonna use like a little. Okay. I'm gonna use this. You see this cute little guy? Okay, or a gal, or you know, cute little octopus. Okay. I'll use this octopus as a, okay, so I was in the front row, and the theater, it's the oh, it doesn't say, but I think it's the west thingy, okay, but okay, okay, the theater is small, like in a good way, and so there's this part where, okay, right, okay, so it's the front, there's this part in the play where, oh, okay, first thing is, like, sometimes I might be on the spectrum a little, I don't know, apparently taking the test to see if you're autistic might be like $1,000, so I don't know, and I don't want to take away from people who've been diagnosed with autism, but I might be a smidgen on the spectrum, but that is to say, or I'm just socially awkward, but sometimes I, like, stare. So I have to remind myself not to stare. So yeah, I went to see the play, you know, because Rachel Wood was in it, and I'm a huge fan of hers. So let's say this is Evan, because this is like a cute little octopus, and I think Evan's cute. So alright, so you know, Evan's like, you know, going across stage and singing and doing her thing, and so I was mainly there to see Evan, but I didn't want to like stare. I didn't want to be like this, like, because that's like, awkward and maybe not cool. I don't know. So sometimes I have to remind myself to like be like, you know, like, okay, I'm looking at this actor, now I'm looking at this actor, now I'm and sometimes I have to do that in real life too, because like, I was like, when I get coffee at my local coffee shop, one time this guy, you know, was taking my order, and he's a really cool guy. I remember he was taking my order, and I remember I was looking at him, and I was like, whoa, he has a really cool face, you know, and let's say this is the coffee guy, and I'm just like, whoa, and it's like, I have to remind myself, Julie, I have to say to myself, stop staring, because it's rude, you know what I'm saying, so anyway, so yeah, so, you know, Evan gets on stage, and there's other actors, and I didn't want to be some weirdo, like, because it's weird, so I wanted to make sure, so I'm practicing not staring, because it's not cool and kind of weird, so, but it's more just me being awkward, so that is to say, so I was in the front row, and there's this part where, you know, the audience does interact sometimes with the audience, or looks at the audience, and so there's this part where the guy's sitting right next to me, so there was the sassy lady right here, she was right here, and then me, and she was right next to the aisle, and then there's like the rest of the row of the show. So there's this guy right next to me, and so there's a part of the show where, let's say this is, you know, Evan, and she's basically right here, like singing to the guy next to me, but I'm practicing not staring, so I didn't want to be like, because that's staring, and I don't want to be weird. Okay, so I didn't want to be like that, right? You know, and so she's singing to the guy next to me, kind of like, you know, she's like at eye level singing to the guy next to me. So me, I'm trying to practice, you know, coming across like not too weird. So I was like, oh yeah, she's like totally right there singing to the guy next to me in the audience. You know, and anyway, so I didn't want to be some weirdo like staring. This is not cool. So I was like glancing. Okay, all right, she's right there singing. Okay, so but there is this part where I think she might have saw me, maybe, and she maybe looked happy to see me. I don't know, but I don't want to read too much into it. But you know, maybe she saw me and was like, hey, you're that person who's a big fan of mine, you know, but she looked happy to see me, so, okay, but I don't want to project or presume or anything like that, but she was, like, right here, to my longtime viewers of my channel, and you guys know I'm a fan. Okay, so there's this second part, and it's the end of the movie, and the end of the play, and everyone's dressed like a plant, you know, it's a show about plants, alright. So the cast comes out, you know, the entire cast, and they all are lined up in the front row, and it just so happens that, like, okay, let's say again, this cute little octopus is Evan, because I think she's cute. Okay, so, and to me cute is like a compliment. Okay, so all the actors come out, and you guys, Evan's like right here, because it's a small theater, so she's like right here standing, right? But you know me, I'm working on not being a weirdo who stares. So I didn't want to be like this, like, okay, I didn't want to be like that. So it's weird, and I'm working on being less awkward, so socially speaking. So she's right here, and I was like, holy crap. So I was like, okay, I'm casually glancing, casually like that, like, okay. And then there's this part in the play where they crouch like this, and as part of the play, because it is about a plant that eats people. That's what it's about, right? Okay, so, but then at the end of the play, there's this part where the entire cast, they go like this. They go, roar, like that, and then it cuts the lights turn off. So, but I'm working on not staring, so I was like, well, Julie, don't stare. So I didn't want to be, you know, that's staring. So anyway, the way the play ended, this is back in February, the play ended with the entire cast, including her, she goes, "Roar!" and then the lights went dark, black. And then I was like, holy crap. And that was the end of the play. So I just wanted to share that antidote. Okay, and the last thing I want to say is, trigger warning, I won't be talking explicitly about domestic violence, but I am gonna talk for 5 seconds about the general subject of domestic violence, because I do feel like I owe planet Earth an apology. Okay, so hear me out, and I have notes on this. Okay, so what's happening is, right, because Little Shop of Horrors, the character Audrey, essentially she is a victim of domestic violence. And okay, so right now there's a movie out, it's called It Ends With Us, starring like Justin Baldoni and Blake Lively. And apparently, like, it sounds like there might have been a clash of egos or something like that. Like, it sounds like Blake might have been mean, but then Justin Baldoni was kind of mean, and like there was drama on set. But also, it also just sounds like it was a clash of egos. You know what I'm saying, or whatever. So, I mean, I wish Blake Lively all the best. I wish Justin Baldoni all the best. I'm not villainizing either of them because I don't feel like it. And anyway, but based on the research I've done, I've looked into it, because right now that's what the internet's talking about right now. But it sounds like the real issue is the book It Ends With Us. The movie's based on a book, but it sounds like what the book kind of, I haven't read the book, but from what I've seen in other people's YouTube videos, is that the book kind of like romanticizes domestic violence, or makes it seem cutesy or something like that. And okay, so it sounds like the real thing about the movie that's problematic is the source material, because it's based on a book, and the book is kind of cutesy, or kind of like romanticizes domestic violence in a way that's not accurate or unkind. And so because of that, somebody on TikTok uploaded an interview with Julia Roberts, and I love Julia Roberts as an actress. I remember Mystic Pizza, Pretty Woman, Notting Hill, and I forgot about this movie. But we in the house I grew up in, we watched all the Julia Roberts movies. So Julia Roberts made a movie called Sleeping with the Enemy, where she plays a victim of domestic violence, and the movie is not. It's a thriller. It's a drama. In my opinion, I haven't seen it since the 1990s. I looked it up. It came out in 1991. I haven't seen it since 1991. But from what I remember, Sleeping with the Enemy, Julia Roberts is fantastic in the movie. And from what I remember, the movie is very respectful of the subject of domestic violence. And I remember watching Sleeping with the Enemy in 1991. And that movie made domestic violence look absolutely terrifying, because it is terrifying. And it's evil, right? And so what I want to say is that, so there's this interview, somebody put it on TikTok, and it's Julia Roberts from 1991, answering questions about the movie Sleeping with the Enemy. And I might go rewatch it. I just remember the movie was really intense, but, and it's Julia Roberts showing the utmost empathy for her character, who is a victim of domestic violence. And there's this, in the interview, the journalist, is asking her, so Julia Roberts plays a victim of domestic violence, and Julia Roberts' character stays with the man, the abuser, for like 3 or 4 years. And the journalist is asking Julia Roberts, she's like, well, how could your character stay with this guy for 3 or 4 years? And Julia Roberts very, very graciously, because I love Julia Roberts, but Julia Roberts very graciously, she's like, no. she's like, I could never imagine. And she's like, it's psychological. And that is to say, Julia Roberts, she's not judging the character she played, who stayed in an abusive relationship for 3 or 4 years. She's not judging the character, and she's showing empathy for her character, and she's saying, like, and when she says it's psychological, that domestic violence is, it's violent, but it's deeply psychological. And so, you know, and Julia Roberts is right. She is correct in that. And I think so right now with It Ends With Us, the real conversation is that the book doesn't treat a serious topic with the seriousness it deserves, you know? But in seeing that interview, and with Julia Roberts saying, I could never imagine what it's like, because, you know, Julia Roberts had never been a victim of domestic violence. And so what I want to say is, like, I definitely, with the utmost empathy, try to put myself in the shoes of victims of domestic violence as much as I can. And I want to say that, like, I think just because of pure luck, you know, I've never dated someone who had power over me, whether it was like age or money or celebrity status. I've just never, because of pure luck, I've never dated someone who had power over me. And in high school, I did have boyfriends, and they were physically stronger than I am, but they were, like, the nicest guys ever. So I guess I just want to say, like, I just want to offer the utmost empathy towards victims or survivors of domestic violence, and that, and Julia Roberts is right, that it is psychological, and I just want to offer my utmost empathy to all survivors of domestic violence, and to help me, like, better understand, I like to listen to stuff on Audible, part of my commute to work, and I downloaded a book by Rachel Louise Snyder, and the book's What We Don't Know About Domestic Violence Can Kill Us. But it's called, like, let me make sure I get it right. It's called No Visible Bruises by Rachel Louise Snyder, and it's, you know, it's apparently a very definitive book explaining, and the tagline is what we don't know about domestic violence can kill us, and it's just like a very definitive, serious book just about the subject of domestic violence. And so what I want to say is, like, yeah, like in 2022, I watched a documentary, you know, on domestic violence called Phoenix Rising, and, you know, it, you know, like, my natural reaction is, it freaked me out a little, you know, and in a way, like, I was judging the victims a little bit, and that is fucked up of me, and that's not cool of me, and my natural, that's just not cool, and I would like to profusely apologize for that, because it's such a sophisticated form of abuse, it just is, that I don't ever want to, like, victim blame ever again when it comes to domestic violence, and not that I was like but I was judging the victims, and that's really, really, really fucked up and not okay, and I would just like to profusely apologize for that, for my own ignorance, and then prior ignorance. And then, someone on Instagram recommended a book to me about an industrial goth musician who was popular in the 90s, and I read the book, made a video about it, but as I was reading, that book is essentially also about domestic violence. As I was reading the book, I did get grumpy, and it was the same thing where I was blaming the victims a little, and same deal. I just want to profusely apologize for blaming victims, because I am glad I saw the documentary on domestic violence, and I'm glad I read the book on domestic violence about the industrial goth musician, because it did show me how sophisticated the subject is, as far as domestic violence goes. Yeah, Julia Roberts is right. It's deeply, deeply psychological. And I am looking forward, it's going to be heavy, but I am looking forward to, and so, what the other thing I want to say is I have been in, like, emotional abusive, friendship situations with women as a lesbian or woman who's primarily attracted to women, and the biggest thing, when I've had women be mean to me or I let them treat me badly for years, I'm not comparing it to domestic violence, I'm just saying, but what I'm trying to say is like with respect, but when I've let women treat me like crap, basically, and that's still not the same as domestic violence, I want to be clear, but the biggest thing is, as far as women who are more my emotional abusers, if you will, it's just, what happens is the abuser gets inside your head, or got inside my head, and it's just it's psychological, and it's a highly sophisticated form of abuse. And but anyway, one thing I want to apologize for, getting grumpy. I want to apologize for a little bit of victim blaming. That's fucked up and not cool of me, and I want to apologize for being a little grumpy. And I want to say, like, because I grew up Baptist, but yeah, God is my witness. Yeah, this is my little symbol of faith, but I'm interfaith, and I support all positive expressions of spirituality, faith, whatever works for you. But I just want to say, as God is my witness, when it comes to these things, I will never get grumpy or victim blame ever again, so help me God. And, like, I do want to, every day, it's still not the same, but every day, my dad would never get physically violent, but my dad would yell at my mom every day for like 20 years. And she finally left him, it took her many years, but we were all in college, me and my sisters, by the time she left him. But I remember seeing my mom say, she would be like, I don't know why I stayed so long. I don't know why I stayed so long. And, like, as an adult, I forgive my mom, personally. But it's just one of those things where abuse, the new word is intimate partner abuse. That's a new phrase to me, but intimate partner abuse or intimate partner violence, it's just such a sophisticated thing. It's such a sophisticated form of abuse, and I don't want to, nothing but empathy for survivors. That's all. Nothing but empathy for survivors. And I want to profusely apologize for being judgmental, and that's totally my bad, And 2023, I was stuck in my ego a little bit, and I got a book called Ego is the Enemy by Ryan Holiday, and I guess what I'm trying to say is, all I have to offer to planet Earth, to everyone everywhere, all I have to offer now is love. Cosmic love, fangirl love, whatever kind of love people need. But all I have to offer here is love and empathy. And I do want to eradicate domestic violence. I love Star Trek. Star Trek is about being optimistic. So I do want to eradicate domestic violence from planet Earth. I want to eradicate poverty from planet Earth. But the best way I can do that is to be empathetic, to listen, and just to understand more about the subject. And so I'm starting with the book by Rachel Louise Snyder. That's where I'm starting. And yes, so I just want to say that, for me, from this day forward, no more, I don't want to judge people anymore, and I don't want to be stuck in my ego, and I only want to offer love to the world. Technically, okay, this is a weird segue. Technically, I'm still single, but yeah, like, it's all good, you know what I'm saying? So, I just want to offer nothing but love to anyone out there, and if you survived an abusive relationship, I just anyone out there, you deserve the utmost love and awesomeness and amazingness, and that's what you deserve. So you deserve that Notting Hill type love, since I'm on this Julia Roberts kick right now. But I will continue praying for victims or survivors of domestic violence, and let's bring as much love into the world as we possibly can. So I just want to say, for me, nothing but love from me. Nothing but love from me, and empathy and understanding and listening. Okay, alright, thank you so much for watching. Y'all are super awesome, and this is my emotional support stuffy. Cause it's so cute. Okay, and soft, so cute and soft. Okay, my friend Emilio gave them to me. Okay, alright, thank you so much for watching, and go make art, go be awesome, give yourself a hug, give yourself some love for everything you've been through, everything you've survived. Go make some awesome art, write some good books, make some awesome movies, write some great music, do a one-act play or a one-woman, one-man, one-human play. Go do your thing. Go be awesome. Go make art. Yeah, let's keep spreading love and empathy in the world. Little Shop of Horrors. Every version is really fucking cool. And okay, thank you so much for watching. I'm Julie, and God bless you guys. Talk to you later. Bye.